Hey, welcome everybody out there, all you beautiful people. I am doing something different tonight. In fact, I'm doing two things, maybe even three things different, but at least two. First, I'm actually doing this through YouTube Beta Studio, the entire thing. I've never done that before. You know why? Because YouTube
Hey,
Beta
welcome
sucks.
everybody out there,
Oh,
all you beautiful people.
see, I can hear myself.
I
There we go. I fixed that. Yeah, YouTube Beta sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. I've been postponing it. I've been dreading it, but as of recently, any content creator out there knows you're getting this message out there saying classical YouTube Studios going away. So they're forcing us to use YouTube Studio. So I'm trying to condition myself to use it. And so I'm actually using it through the entire beta thing. Not a fan, but they're forcing us against my by the way, against my will. So this is an imposition of my will. This is immoral, YouTube, to do this. But whatever. The second thing is, look who I brought along with me. Um, I have never been on a stream alone with Sweet Heathen before, at least to my
Not alive.
knowledge. Right? Have I?
No, no, not
Yeah.
just us. As we were saying, yeah.
So we always have somebody with us. We never get any quality time together, just you and I.
As I was saying, not live anyways.
Not live anyway. Yeah. Well, hey, whatever
We
happens
chit
off
chat.
air stays off air. This is an
Oh
unwritten
yeah.
rule. Um, but here we are. Here we are, the first time live together, and I thought it'd be awesome to read some Christian comments about me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short, Sweet, why don't people tell about your history a little bit? Because you used to be a Christian. I used to be a Christian. Uh, is
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
For anyone who doesn't know, I was raised mostly Catholic. My mother was kind of a Roman Christian, but my father's family was pretty devout Catholic at the time, and my grandmother especially. And I went to Catholic school from grades 4 to 8, well, a little bit of ninth. I was an all-girls school. I left. It was uncomfortable. But I left the Catholic Church at age 13 because of the whole sex scandal. I was horrified by what they were doing and what they were covering up.
Oh, did we lose you?
I still
Okay.
was Christian for a while. Oh, did I cut out? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she
I have really bad internet, and Skype is not my friend right now.
no,
I
but
don't usually
we'll
use
muddle
it,
through. We'll muddle
so it's a
through.
little worse than Hangouts. But um, yeah, so I was really devout. The longest time, even after leaving the Catholic Church, I was big Jesus fan, and so there's a lot of things I still remember about my thought process, and I'm really curious every time I see Christians specifically acting a certain way or saying certain things. And is just kind of eyes like, this is something I would never say or do. This is the exact opposite of what I've always been told, what I thought Jesus was and what he would stand for. We try to be like Jesus the best we can, even though we know we can never actually attain that. We're supposed to try. These people a lot of times don't try. And I don't know exactly what we're getting into here because I haven't read them yet. This is kind of a surprise. In all full honesty,
Surprise!
Steve did read one of the comments to me so far, but that was it. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes
Yeah,
and try to have fun with it.
you and I both have that in common because people know that I left the Mormon Church for similar reasons, right? They were back in 2008. There was Proposition 8, and they were actively funding and against gay marriage in California, and I just couldn't stand for that. I was like, no. I had to do some processing. I was like, look, if this is the true Church of God, which by the way, really wasn't even active at that point, but still, I was like, if this is the true Church of God, why would God want this? I'm sorry, this is not the God that I think that exists. If God exists, I'm like, this is something wrong here. It's just the only reason I really believed in God is because I was baptized Mormon when I was 17. That the whole theism thing kind of fell apart, right? And then so I became a Gnostic shortly after. But both of you and I have had moral considerations, right? even
Right.
even though we're non-believers now, this whole thing is like, well, how does a non-believer, or how does an atheist, or how does an agnostic get their morals? Well, there's there's thousands and thousands and thousands of hours how people can talk about that. I mean, that's a very complicated subject. But
Right.
when you see these Christians that are doing these immoral acts, and then they're doing it in the name of Jesus, people lying, in the name of Jesus, trying to promote these ethical verities and saying, hey, these are moral truths. Believe me, because God. I have a problem with that. A lot of problems with
Yeah,
that, especially when I believe that there are quite immoral acts, things that we should not do. They're morally impermissible acts, and
absolutely.
it drives me
And
nuts.
even more than that, like, so aside from the whole Catholic Church thing, later in my life, I started reflecting more in my childhood and thinking about all the horrible things that I experienced that were excused by the Bible, that the Bible is used to justify. And probably get into that more later. From what you told me, the gist of what's going on here, I have a feeling
Yeah, I think there probably is will. By the way,
to dig through for that. So
um,
yeah.
can you kind of sit closer to your computer a little bit? You seem so small on my screen. I don't know why. There you go.
I can't where I'm
Oh,
sitting.
you
I'm
should.
at my
Okay,
kitchen island.
it's fine.
If I move the computer closer, my connection will get weaker.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't touch the
So
computer.
deal
Yeah.
with me being small.
We spent the last 15 minutes perfectly aligning her
Yeah,
computer to have the
getting it
best
just right.
optimal thing. Okay, so real quick before we get into that, I was telling Sweet that my landlord is Christian, right? And I've been living here 5 years, so he knows all about everything goes on online, right? He has my Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. But it's kind of funny because he was telling me the same thing like S.J. Thomason said. He used almost the same word. He said, hey. These people that are doing this about you, talking about this and claiming these certain things about you, they're not Christians. Now, again, I'm not playing the no true Christian game, right? I think they are Christians because they profess to be Christians. And that, to me, they're Christians. No, they're shitty Christians. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah,
they're still Christians.
they're
But
still Christians.
right, but at least he differentiates. I could get into him and say, look, they're Christians still, but he's like, because he's not a young Earth creationist, right? I mean, he's old Earth. I mean, he accepts evolution. He was an anthropologist. I mean, right? So
Yeah,
he's a smart
it's
dude.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure, I'm sure he's very intelligent, but aside from that, it's kind of a defense mechanism because it's easy when you see Christians acting in a bad way to just say, "Oh, they're not real Christians, therefore you're not taking on any of that responsibility for their actions where you otherwise might feel affiliated with them." It's so I understand why people do it. I used to do it. Because and I'll probably do it tonight, just like a bit more saying this is how I would not act as a Christian, but I still believe that these people are Christian because again, if you accept Jesus, you believe in the divinity of Jesus. G-Man and I can fight about whatever later, but it's like, you are a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That's the core. That's the whole point. Whatever you do in your life doesn't define you as a Christian. It's what you believe.
Yeah, and by the way, it's what's really strange is that even when I was a theist, I never had any of those attitudes, right? I mean, I never had this attitude, I'm better than you, or I never had this attitude, or I'm so more moral than you. I didn't even really know
Mhm.
much about morality then. The only thing that I ever did think, and this is, early on, this is like when I was first baptized when I was 17, I did have that impression a little bit of, oh, I know something that most people don't know. I have knowledge that other people don't know. I didn't understand knowledge back then, right? I didn't understand philosophy. I hated philosophy. So I thought, hey, look, I have God in my life now, right? I mean, I feel sorry for people that don't. I did have that, right? But I didn't ever have, oh, I should be able to judge people because of God, right? Because I didn't even understand ethics very well. And so when people defer to God for their ethical framework, especially things like ethical subjectivism or divine command theory, same thing, they lose the ability, I think, to formulate these ethical frameworks. They just say, hey, look, whatever's ethical is what God says. Boom. And they throw away the ability to rationalize and think for themselves, is this really something moral, right? Because they're
Yeah,
deferring it to
it's a
God.
struggle.
It's a struggle. It's
Absolutely.
crippling to them.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so anyways, we're going to dive into this. By the way, I do want to thank my members that have new symbols. Look at that. Anybody that's been a member for more than a month now, I think it is, gets a different color, and then it goes up from there. So I want to thank them, and I also want to thank Padme the cat for this wonderful thumb here. Yeah. And by the way, I didn't even notice Padme in the corner until you pointed that out.
Yeah, I know. When I saw, I was looking at it.
What is Padme looking
Well,
at? I don't.
I think I was talking. You were looking at it for a good 5 minutes before I noticed that it was there. And
Yeah,
it was
well,
hysterical.
my
I
mic
love
is
it.
covering off. One eye I can see it, the other eye I can't. You know how you have that, like
Yes, yes,
paradox. So in my other eye I can see it, right? But what is
yeah.
Padme looking at right now? He's looking at me really creepily. Not,
He's
okay,
watching. He's watching
not
the
judging.
torture, enjoying it. Yeah.
Kawasa 5001. All right, let's expose some Steve. Turn on the pop porn music, dim lights. You will dance for us, Steve. I will dance. I will start to expose myself, and you will like it.
Oh,
I will force myself upon you as a was it the moral imposition of
oh
imposition of
God.
will. Um, you know.
Yeah, that's not going to be taken out of context at all.
Oh, everything is taken. Everything is taken out of context. This is like I said. Shitty people take people out of context, and shitty people that run these types of things that we're going to be talking about, they're shitty people. All right, so let's dive into this. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, so let me get this out of the way. First of all, I'm not going to promote this video. I'm not going to promote the person who made this video. Why? Because they're just a garbage person. I tried to help them a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and like I try to help a lot of people. That's one thing I like to do is help people. He basically spat on me, started lying, started manipulating, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with this person. And so people that might know the history, that's fine. But let's not mention his name because I don't want to give him any.
Nope.
I'm not trying to give him any attention because he's not worth any attention. But these quotes or these comments, gold. I couldn't resist. But I did get it approved, my Lord and Master Cheshire. Okay, sweet.
Yes.
Because I don't make any of these decisions. I don't do anything.
No.
I just defer everything.
We defer to the Gabo Queen.
Yes.
Always.
You get it. All right, so let's dive into this. Number one. Here we go. Can you read that? Is it blurry? Is it fine? Let me transition here.
All right. Yep.
All right. So hopefully the outside. Let me make sure, because again, I had to like manipulate the stuff and.
Okay.
So can you guys read this? Pat Towel is fine. We can call him Pat. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to read this to you. This is again.
Oh, I don't like that because towels are useful.
Just call him Pat then. Pat. Again, I cannot 1,000% be certain these are Christians, but I try to get as many ones that I thought were Christian for the most part. All right,
sure.
So this person says, and this is the one that you have seen before, all cards on the table, but you haven't seen any of the other ones. Again, I am very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right for someone who rejects Christ. These people hate everything good, including children. They want to harm children any way they can. They hate innocence because they are totally corrupt and just want to corrupt everyone else.
Okay, so off the bat, to me, this reads like a troll comment, but I don't believe it is.
No, I don't think it is at all. No, this is somebody I think is a legit Christian.
Could be. If I was gonna go on and be like, I'm gonna act like an asshole Christian, this is what I would write, almost word for word. It's perfect. So there's a lot to pick apart here too. So sounds about right for someone who rejects Christ. Okay.
Now
like where
to start, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've known so many people who accept Christ. There are a lot of Christians out there that act in way worse ways. And I assume this is referring to you supporting.
You broke up there.
Or hosting bad people on your channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you broke up. But
sorry.
So long story short, people obviously know that I had somebody on. There was a controversy over that. People try to smear me, try to take things that I said, juxtaposition here, what I said here to here, and relate it to this, relate it to that, and basically run a whole narrative, right, in order to try to character assassinate me rather than address the topics, right? This is well known by now. The people that continue these types of apologies, they're called the R. I don't want to get demonetized too soon, but the R apologist. They're all shitty people. I mean, these are actually legit shitty people that most of them I tried to get away from years ago, right? 3.5 years ago, I stopped talking about them. I moved, I distanced myself from them. Bullinator did, Red's Rhetorics did. We don't want anything to do with these horrible people because this is what we've seen them do. They go after people and character assassinate them. Well, he's jumping on that bandwagon now, right? Because this guy, to give you guys a little background about this particular person. He's a young earth creationist, so obviously somebody that I disagree with, right, very strongly, because I was actively going against young creation for a very long time, and I'm going to go back into that. He also thinks that gays should be killed, but humanely by the government. Because
so sweet.
Right? That's Christian love for you. Yes, I think that gay people should die, but you know what? As long as it's done humanely. That's
what about
their
people
ethics.
like me that are only like half gay? Do we just get beaten or something? I mean, where's the line?
Wait, is it called all? Wait, is it kind of all or nothing or?
Yeah, I think it's all or nothing. Yeah, I get to die too. Awesome.
Everybody gets to die.
Every-
Yes. If you're
yeah.
if you're a six,
Most women get to die.
if you're a six, or no, wait, if you're a 3 or higher on the Kinsley scale, then you're dead. Right. So I mean, if you ever had any kind of proclivity to the same sex, this guy probably wants you dead. But this is again, this is the ethical framework that we're dealing with, right? This is the self-professed Christian that they think is moral, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a little background of the particular person. By the way, those are facts. You can people that know where the story, they can check into it. This is not smearing him. This is something that was well established because there was huge articles with him saying this, and he has defended that. Yes, gay should die. Okay, but anyway, so it sounds about right for somebody who rejects Christ. Well, the word reject means to not accept. I mean, excuse me, the word reject is not to not accept. It is to accept negation. Okay, so to say that you believe that is the case that Christ doesn't exist. I've never done that. Now,
well, there's two ways to read into that.
Yeah,
so
it could be just not accept.
Yeah, rejecting Christ could be that you believe he existed, and that you could even believe that he was divine, but you choose to not follow him.
Sure.
And a lot of times when Christians use that, that's what they mean, because they believe that everybody knows the divinity of Christ.
Oh, that's a good point.
Deep down,
yeah.
But they're rejecting it, and that's, they're saying no, thank you. Me, I don't really care if Jesus lived or not. I don't believe he was divine if he did, and I don't believe that any gods exist. So it's not that I'm rejecting Christ for who he is or was. I'm just not on board. It's the same as Allah or Zeus or Thor. Sorry to the polytheist. I was a polytheist.
Great. Now Ocean's going to dislike this video. Thanks a lot.
No. Sorry, Ocean.
Yeah, and
no,
Chris
Hansen. But I
oh.
was a polytheist for a while, so I forgot to mention that, if that matters.
By the way, our Chris Hansen, not the Onision Chris Hansen.
Yes,
it's two Chris Hansens out there.
I was a polytheist, was my last step before just full agnosticism and then into atheism. And I have a lot more sympathy and understanding for people who are polytheist. It seems to make a lot more sense in my mind, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, no. Look, I don't fight against polytheists. I argue and fight against young Earth creationism and flat Earth. Those
bother me.
Yeah, polytheists don't bother me. I don't care. But you're right. Because I'm looking at this from a philosophical point of view because I've been so ingrained in it. When I see when I hear reject or see reject, it actually means, like I said, a certain negation, which I don't. But you're right. They believe, because of Romans 1, was it 1:2? Basically, that we all have God written on our hearts, right? But we
right
in our unrighteousness, right? We what is it? Reject him in our unrighteousness, you're right, because that's what they think. We all know God exists, but we just reject him. Which, by the way, I don't have knowledge of that, and I'd like to know how they would argue that from a theory of knowledge, right? But
the Bible says so it's true.
That's a weird epistemological way of viewing what knowledge is, right? To me, it's just an assertion. Matter of fact, most of them presupp it, right?
But that's the thing; they do it differently. They're not looking at it from a logical perspective. From a perspective of faith. When you look at something from a perspective of faith, it can be anything. You can say, I know that there are aliens living in the clouds that will come visit me tomorrow. If you really just believe that, then you convince yourself you think you know it because you think it's true. Mm-hmm. So you're saying you know it.
Right.
Whereas everybody else around you is going to say that's ridiculous. But
right, because they're using it kind of sloppily, right? But I mean, yes, if you saw aliens and you could probably make the claim that yes, they're aliens if it was in fact aliens, right? That's the condition. Honestly, for truth. It has to be true.
I find that more believable. But yeah, anyways.
I find the likelihood of aliens over God to probably be more because I believe aliens exist. So I would have to say that the probability of aliens exist is higher than the probability of God exists, or else I'd be having a contradiction.
And I'd say you're more justified to believe that. But so that's, that first sentence right there. We could pick that apart for a while, but essentially, I think that's the perspective they're coming from, is that they're thinking that you are rejecting Christ because you know that Christ is true and you're just against him.
I agree with you 1,000%. So he says, these people hate everything good. Really?
Yeah, everything good.
You're good.
Everything good.
You're really good. And I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all.
Depends who you ask, but that's a really bizarre statement to me. And again, something that seems very trollish,
but
because it literally makes no sense. You can't say that people who reject Christ hate everything good. it's impossible, because there's something, I mean, unless they're defining good as like anything that has to do with God only,
So
it
God is
doesn't
the
make it
good,
doesn't
which
make
is, yeah,
sense.
but
I
that's
don't even know that we have to even really get into
that
that.
gets
It's
into
just on its face
tautologies and
ridiculous.
gets into the whole defining God as good is problematic because of naturalistic fallacies and
Oh,
tautologies and yeah,
it's problematic at best.
yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I think that
But
kind of
including
on its
children though. So this person,
including
logically
children,
speaking,
including
says I
children.
hate my daughter.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I hate my daughter too.
And I hate your daughter. You hate my daughter.
And I hate your daughter.
Yeah, we hate kids, man. Wow. News to me. Yeah.
hate all day.
We're just a bunch of haters. So yeah, their logic fails across the board because I mean, when you're saying that a parent hates their child, that's pretty morally
So
despicable.
all right, yeah. Oh, it's awful. But I'm really more interested in the next sentence. That's the fun one.
Okay, go ahead. You
So
can take it while I fix your Skype here.
they
Go
oh,
ahead.
sorry.
Okay.
Am I
No, you're fine. You're fine.
okay? And they they want to harm children any way they can. I sit all day and think about how can I harm children.
Do
I mean,
you?
I know I eat a lot of
Yeah.
babies,
Baby
but
cheeks. Barbecued baby cheeks.
they're just so pinchable and But I mean, come on, really?
I didn't realize when my
And
grandma, who was an atheist, said, I just pinch your cheeks. I could just eat you. I didn't know she was little about it. Yeah.
so here's where we get into the whole trigger warnings, okay? So I'm gonna talk about my childhood a little bit. Anyone who gets squeamish about comfortable things used for imagination, maybe me or pause or whatever when you watch.
Trigger warning.
So when I was a child, yeah, trigger warnings all around. Um, I witnessed and suffered various forms of physical and sexual abuse, and it was at the hands of devout Christians. And anytime I would cry and beg for them to stop and ask why they were doing this, and was it really justified? Did you have to do this? They would always float a Bible quote and justify it that way. Not only would they justify everything with the Bible, they would tell me that if I kept arguing, if I put up any, issues, if I went and told anybody else about it and violated the household unit that was there, that I would burn in hell forever. I could destroy the family. Or I would be in hell forever, separated from everybody I loved or cared about. And this is when I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, kind of remembering this stuff, and that impacts a child. That's not something that a child can just say, "Oh, that's not rational. I'm not going to believe you." That child's probably going to believe that, and I did believe.
Oh, okay. We lost connection real quick, so wait for it. Will come back. Hey, give it a second. Yeah, you just dropped for a second.
I
Yeah.
saw it, so I stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. So you continue where you said, well, you
Which
did
last
believe
thing you
that.
heard?
You did believe that.
Yeah, I believe that, and it wasn't until that's when I told my father, and from there. But um, yeah, so to say that people that and I can't fathom hurting children. It absolutely disgusts me to think about people who hurt children in any way. I want to give my daughter the best life I can because one, she didn't ask to be brought into this world. And I think that parents have a responsibility, and maybe because of my upbringing, but I feel like parents have a responsibility to take care of their children and nurture them and treat them with respect, which is the exact opposite of what the Bible teaches in many
You mean be a
cases.
decent
So
human being and a decent parent? Yeah.
yeah,
Crazy
crazy
talk.
thought.
Crazy.
So for someone to say that people who reject Christ or the Bible want to harm children, and as if people who accept Christ don't want to harm children. Have you seen the Catholic Church? Do you pay attention at all? Because every week there's another pastor or preacher that's arrested for pedophilia or, sorry, I'm using words I shouldn't use.
No, that's fine. You can use that. I don't care if we get demonetized.
I don't censor myself very well.
No,
I try.
I would never even try to censor you. God, no.
Oops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And matter of fact, the whole I ought to say it, the whole rape apologist thing came from a Catholic that was mad that I was, going after the Catholic Church for rape apologetics, right? This was a response to that in some ways, which is kind of funny because anybody who thinks I'm a rape apologist or anything I think I have anything to do with rape apologetics hasn't been paying attention, and they are just
Yeah,
spinning things for narrative and lying to people.
exactly.
That's it. Because I was very
Oh
much
yeah,
against the Catholic Church harming kids, and I was very much for quite a while there calling out rape
you
apologetics
were
because priests were
you were
moving.
extremely
Yes.
outspoken. You were outspoken to a degree that was getting other people uncomfortable. Like that are atheists or agnostics. There were a lot of people that were like, "Whoa, like Steve's really going hard against the church for this
But look what
reason."
happened. Eventually, more and more
But
shit came
I think
out.
you were
But I was
right.
right. Right.
Yeah,
More stuff
yeah,
came
yeah.
out. And so I felt vindicated on that. And
Mhm.
the person who mostly started this rape apologetic stuff happened to be Catholic, and they, did not like that. So there's always a backstory to this kind of stuff. But it's kind of funny you were talking about this stuff as being a decent parent. I remember not too long ago I was out with my daughter at Red Robin. I was telling you. Well, one of the things
Yes.
we had talked about was I had told her, and I wanted to reiterate to her, look, I'm going to be going to Boston, and you and I are going on a trip together. I'm going to be going to L.A. You think it's going to happen, right? And I wanted to
Yeah.
reiterate to her, look, there's a file on my desktop. It has your name on it. If anything ever happens to me, open it. And I wrote something to her, but I also have all my passwords, all my accounts, everything that she needs. And she's like, Dad, nothing was going to happen to you. You talk like you're going to die. I'm like, look, this is what a parent has to do. Things happen because I want to make sure that you're taken care of, right?
I
And
feel terrible. I wasn't nearly that thorough when I left.
you are. See, there you
I
go.
am I am a
She's a
bad
bad
person. Yep, you're right.
atheist parenting right there. Or
Terrible
yeah,
mother.
yeah,
No,
atheist
I have
parenting.
my affairs in order, but I if I ever did something like that, and I know that my daughter would take it and get worried because she'd think that I thought something was going to happen to me. So I didn't talk to her about that. I mean, I do have my affairs in order,
Yeah,
but I didn't want to scare her.
yeah. I didn't want to scare my
But
daughter either, but
she's,
my daughter's a little older than yours,
well,
not by much,
kids,
but
yeah, and kids have a different emotional maturity
yeah.
too. So, you do what's right for your child, and that's what I thought I did. But I think you were right to do what you did too.
I'm,
Oh
I am,
my God, is it
and
possible
of
that we
course
have two
people.
different perspectives that are both right?
Yes, absolutely. There is. You could be both two different perspectives. They're both right because different situations, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and people question anybody. I'm sorry, but you question my parenting skills. People are just sick, bringing people like
All right,
yeah. So, anyways, so here you go.
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So they hate innocence because, and by the way, we got 17 of these to go through, so hang tight.
I was gonna say we're already a half hour in, and we were still on the first one.
Yeah, but the other ones are
So
pretty quick. We'll go
move on.
faster. They hate innocence. This is the first two of the main ones.
I'm
Th-
sure. I'm sure it'd be redundant. So
yeah,
yeah.
they're a lot of redundant. So they hate innocence because they are totally corrupt and just want to corrupt everyone else. I don't understand that because again, I talk a lot about morality and ethics, and I want people to do the right thing. Matter of fact, I get shit on because I do what I believe is the right thing. I mean, look at the whole like Lily Jean thing, right? I stood up for an 18-year-old girl that had been bullied for 3 years because people have been willfully lying about her and doing it for drama. And some people are like, yes, we just do it to mess with her. We just do it because we find it enjoyable, and they create this whole weird narrative about her. Everything she does, she'll take out of context and try to
Hmm.
harm her. I helped,
Right.
I call that cyberbullying. And I thought that was the ethical thing to do. I guess not. I guess the ethical thing to do is try to shit on this 18-year-old girl who's just starting her career, who just wants to make makeup videos. That's the ethical thing, according to some people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, they hate innocence. Again, that's so broad. It's just like saying they hate everything good. It's just it doesn't make sense. There's no coherence there. It's just, I mean, I guess there could be. I would say there probably are people out there that don't value innocence to a degree of they value education and knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
because innocence, some people interchange with ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people who are believers, a lot of them do value ignorance because the more you learn about the outside world and science, the further you are from God. And again, fully justified by the Bible. So
I think you're right on that.
that,
Absolutely
that
right.
yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand their thought there. It's wrong, but I think what they're saying is that, if we're so bad and we're all about, physical pleasure and doing what we want, doing what feels good because there are no consequences in the afterlife and blah, 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 and we want to turn everybody into atheists, then we want to corrupt everybody. That's essentially, I think, what they're getting at. And it's just wrong.
It is wrong.
I don't really care if people are atheist or not. I think it's the wiser position to take, but that's my personal opinion. And I really care more about having conversations with people about why they believe what they believe. And, I've kind of gone back and forth with that in my evolution, of course, but right now that's how I feel. I think that religion is dangerous, but if you believe in a higher power, great. Fine, whatever. Um, I don't want to corrupt you. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want
don't
to corrupt
either.
you.
I got a super chat real quick. Christopher for Twister Hugan for $2. Hashtag stop picking on Steve. And by the way, somebody asked, did Steve McRae and
Yes,
Chester Vick have a falling out? Who is this person? Chester's on vacation. Well-deserved
who is this
vacation. Yeah,
person?
who's
I'm
this
not on
person?
here enough.
Really? Yeah. By the way, this is Sweet Heathen.
On background noise.
People have probably figured out by now. Her and I have been dating for about a year now, give or take. At least it
I
started
guess.
online,
I don't
but
know. It's been casual, whatever thing. So I don't
yeah.
know. There's a date, but
It's kind of hard
sorry.
when you live so far away. But we go on we meet up every 3 months or so.
Yeah, it's been
And then
like
we go on a
that.
real
Yeah.
date. We have been on real dates.
I'm drinking from my
So
Texas cup.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I call that dating. Real dates. I know it's like a kid thing, right? It sounds so like high schoolish.
It's fun to play. But anyways, yeah. I'm Sweet Heathen. I've been hanging around the community for probably about 4 years now, maybe 5.
She was
But I
in
was
those
really
background.
quiet
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
yeah. So
Wait, you weren't you weren't theist when you first got to the community, were you?
I was agnostic
You were agnostic on the
when
phase. Okay.
I got pushed into atheism because I was told that atheism and agnosticism were the same thing.
People lied to you about that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then she met me. I set her straight and
But
yeah.
no, but in the course of that time, I did move from agnosticism into hard atheism. So I accepted the label prematurely, I guess. But by the time I figured that out, I was an atheist, so it was fine.
Yeah, it's funny.
So
Somebody said
whatever.
I traded Chess Ryan for a younger model, so they think that you're younger than Chess. Oh, it's kind of funny too. They also think you're sisters.
Yes, I'm 15.
Yeah. Chess Ryan's 17. She's 15. I'm only 16 and a half, so we'll go with that.
Whoever said that, I love you.
All right, so moving on here. Second one. All right, so I blacked out the person's name. Actually, bro,
Yeah.
perhaps Steve is just being honest with his religion that he's just an evolved animal. After all, with no absolute morals from God that were instilled initially into every human, wouldn't rape, incest, pedophilia be a normal behavior? Now, I didn't notice to read more, but whatever, you get the gist of it.
Yeah, I don't want to read more, but
And you can, by the way,
so
the person on this video, you can see that they hearted some of these, right? Matter of fact, I think they
yes,
hearted most of them. But yeah, so go through this for me, would you please?
of course they did. Okay,
Yeah.
so perhaps Steve is just being honest with his religion with his religion. Steve is just being honest with his religion. What religion is that?
I
Is
don't know.
agnosticism a religion?
No,
No.
not that I'm
I
aware
thought I
of.
thought it was I thought it was not having a religion and not participating and
I mean, you could
suspending
have
judgment.
religion and be agnostic, or you could be an atheist and have religion.
Well,
But
you
because
could,
generally
you could,
speaking,
but
but I'm not a religious person.
you've never.
Oh, he's taken evolution is my religion, which is obviously hyperbolic and extremely wrong, right? But she's coming back. Kawasa 2000. Oh, well, I better read this because it's for sweet. Oh, wait. Okay. You back? You back?
I'm back.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so Kawasa for 2000. Oh, Miss Sweet. I thought it was Cheshire Snort. People get you guys confused. I don't get it.
I think Quas is messing with me.
Yeah.
I love you too, Quas.
No, I think he is too. But as long as I keep them straight, because I can tell you, if I send the wrong message to the wrong girl, that could be really bad on multiple different fronts here. Okay, so I do got to make sure which one I'm talking to.
Especially if it's a picture.
Right? Yeah. Well, no, Chester wouldn't care. That's the funniest part. Well, what I send you though? Holy shit.
It was a joke. It was calm down. It's okay.
But now I'm
It's
like,
okay.
damn. Okay, so
However that was supposed to go, it went. So Steve's just right. It was a religion,
yeah.
ridiculous.
So after
That
all,
he's just an evolved animal. We are all evolved
yes.
animals. I'm sorry, that's true.
Mhm.
After all, with no absolute morals from God, bullshit, that were instilled initially into every human. Okay. I'm gonna actually grant that as even if it's true.
Okay.
Wouldn't rape, incest, and pedophilia be a normal behavior?
The jump in reasoning there is mind-boggling.
No. Even if you did not have morals, right?
Look at the
It,
number of
it, it
subscribers
wouldn't
real
be.
quick at this person real quick. This person has 715 subscribers saying this.
Uh,
Like,
yeah.
wow.
So, I mean, how many subscribers does, Pat have? I have no idea, but I'm
1K.
sure it's more than that.
One,
Yeah.
one point,
So,
which is one,
uh,
yeah, which is 1K. That still
that's
boggles
less
my
than I
mind.
thought.
Yeah, it's like
That's less than,
1.1K or something.
yeah. But anyways, so it's just, that's not, you can't say that without instilled morals, those would be normal behaviors. We see so many other creatures out there that don't do those things. There are a lot of animals that do those things. But the whole point, I mean, with moral consideration, thinking about what's right and wrong, it's do you want to cause harm? Do you know it's going to harm? And look again at the Bible. If everybody had these morals instilled in them from the beginning, there would be no rape or incest or pedophilia in the Bible as okay and condoned by God, encouraged by God. Obviously, God thinks these things are okay in certain circumstances. So you cannot say that the fact that these things exist or that people do these things is a result of not having God in their life. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous.
It's
And plus, we see things in the animal kingdom. For example, they did an experiment where primates would learn how to do things like prostitution, right?
right.
So they know they have to get something to get something, right? And then
Hmm.
also, when a male, let's say male primate, is overbearing to a female primate, what does the female primate do sometimes? Basically smacks them away, right? So there's
Yeah.
even
No
in the
means no.
yeah, and they don't know these ethical frameworks, right? But they understand, hey, if I do this and I try to impose myself on a something that has some kind of agency, there's going to be a problem, right? There could be a potential problem because primates are pretty smart, right? And
Right.
so even by the way, it's weird about absolute morals. I don't think they really understand the terminology they're using here. But if God instilled everybody with morals, then like you said, why was there so much why did he come out and actually be against some of this stuff that was in the Bible? He didn't. Jesus
Yeah.
did Jesus talk about any of these three things? Because I don't think that he did.
No, and that's why the irony here is that every single Christian is a rape apologist. They have to be because they have to condone that it happened and was okay when it happened because of that time period or however they justify it. That's just the truth and the reality of it. That's what a rape apologist is somebody that says that under certain circumstances it's either not really rape or it's okay and justified.
I don't know.
And they don't want to come to
I'm
so
not sure
that
I'd go that far. I don't know. We're gonna have
I
to.
would.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I would.
That's a good. I gotta tell you, no, that's a good discussion though.
Now, I wanna clear that up a little bit. That I'm not saying that they're evil, horrible people for thinking that way. I think that on their level, they're not thinking that there was like a ultimate harm done. They think because they think of a greater good. Because when I was a Christian, I remember thinking that way too. And it wasn't that I thought it was okay that people were harmed. It wasn't that I thought rape was ever good. But if God said it was okay, then it must have been okay somehow. And at the core of that, it doesn't matter what the justification is, you're still justifying the action.
No,
So
I don't think. I don't think it's a
it's
bad.
I think it's a
Yeah, it's
pill
an
to
interesting
swallow,
argument.
but it's just on the face of it, if you the way that's defined, it falls under that definition. They'll just say that, well, it's God, so it's okay, you know. Uh, but a lot of people who rape now will say God told me it was okay, especially when it's children.
Yeah,
So
which by the way, we know in today's society that wouldn't be allowed, right? I mean, if somebody says that they have God talking to them, they're usually looking for as evaluation, right? Because it's okay to talk to God when God talks to you in 2020. It's generally assumed something's wrong, like something kind of malfunction of the mind, which I think probably in every case or a lot of cases actually is. But
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It-
I mean, that's, again, I got I'll backtrack a little bit too. So there are Christians out there who completely reject the Old Testament. Not completely, but to a degree, they don't really put any weight into it, that it's over. We can talk about whether or not they're justified in believing that, but they believe that, so they wouldn't qualify as having that thought because they don't believe that either it was real or maybe it was all metaphor or maybe it was different. There are ways around that. But for someone to completely accept the Bible as a whole, that's what I'm talking about. And that's the kind of Christianity I grew up with, was accepting the whole Bible. So um, just if that makes that clearer.
It does. It actually does. All right. So, yeah, like I said, I don't, I would like to think that this is actually a trollish comment, but this, again, this is actually what I think that a lot of Christians think. And to say that it would be normal behavior, it doesn't follow. Absolutely doesn't follow. We are creatures in a society
No.
where we have to have certain respects for each other. We have to have certain compacts with each other that we have to live by. It is kind of like the do unto others as you had others do unto you, which a lot of people don't follow. I know a lot of Christians, a lot of atheists, they don't follow that. You know, they will be shit on people, even though they don't want it probably to be happening to them, but they'll do it to other people. But none of this stuff becomes normal. None of this stuff becomes normal. So, all right, moving on to another one. All right, here we go. Wow, what a garbage human, Steve, and that disgusting guy he promoted.
Oh, I was hoping he was talking about Pat because that would have made more sense.
Nope. I
But
think they're referring to me.
oh,
Yep.
yeah, Stephen, that disgusting guy he promoted. So you promoted somebody? Really?
News to me.
You promoted somebody.
Yeah, who
That was
does?
disgusting.
I've
I don't
never
know.
made a video about
I've never.
this particular person that they're talking about. I had one person on one time to talk about an unrelated topic, and of course, people led that into a smear campaign. But I never promoted it. I've never made videos one way or another about this guy. They make it sound like I sat there and like defended this guy ad nauseum. I don't give a shit one way or another. It was absolutely unrelated. I wanted to have the topic on a different discussion, and I will have who I want on when I want on, and I won't give a shit what people think about if I have somebody on my channel. If they think that I have a guest on they don't want to see, they don't have to watch. If they want to unsubscribe, that's fine too. I have for 8 years ran this channel the way I wanted to run it, and I'm very happy with that, and that's not going to change, trolls or otherwise. But I've never promoted it. When did I ever promote a pedophile? This is what they're getting at. I didn't watch Matt's video, but I did read the comments and I read the blurb. It seems
You
like
said his name. You said, hey.
Pat, sorry.
Watch
I
yourself.
didn't watch Pat's video. This is why I keep her around. She keeps me on my toes. You don't even know. I'll have a conversation with her, and like for 2 hours, she'd be like correcting me, and then I'm thinking to myself, this narrative like nobody wants. Steve doesn't like to be corrected. I'm like, have you met Sweet? Have you met her?
Oh no, I'm your kitten. Remember, I just do what you tell me to do. I don't have my own mind.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It's just so funny too. You and I, we're like, oh my god, this is so bizarre. But yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
this is outright lie. This is just an outright lie.
So
Right?
yeah, the thing is, if I thought, I've said this so many times before to people, if I thought for a second that you were promoting that kind of a person or you were condoning anything like that, I'd be on a plane to go kick your ass.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I'm not, I don't know, people could say I'm in it fine, but I think I understand the definitions of words and what people do and don't do. And I'm actually there seeing it. Most of these people are just going off of what somebody else says.
Right.
So-and-so said Steve did this, therefore Steve did this, and Steve's a bad person. They're not looking at the actual video and to watch it and to read the chat and to understand what went on. They're just going off of what they're, this person, Pat, that they admire for whatever reason. But at the same time, he condones and advocates for killing people that are gay, and I don't think there's an age limit on that.
No.
At least I think he believes in conversion therapy.
Yeah, I think he
and
does
physically
too.
harming children who are bad. You can beat your children. The Bible says so. It says you can kill your children if they disobey you. So these are things that he holds on to, but you are the garbage person because you let somebody that did something maybe a while ago speak about something completely unrelated that he has experience in. It's
bizarre.
There's no words.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no.
And look at the people I have promoted, right? I have promoted a lot of people. I have helped a lot of channels get started and promoted them.
And
some of them have
spoken out against those things.
Real quick, some of them have stabbed me in the back, right? There's no question about that. People know that. Power to you. Go with God, right? Yeah. Whether God doesn't exist or doesn't exist, doesn't matter. Go God, be with God. I don't talk about those people any longer, right? But There are people that I promote, right? I'll promote In Time, like with Nick Suter, right? Love the guy. I honestly do love
If you
him.
don't, you have
I'm
problems.
going to be hanging out with him in next month, and I'm so excited. And I hate to say this, I'm almost more excited to hang out with Nick than I am Sweet at this point because I've spent time with
I'm
Sweet, but it's Nick,
I'm
right?
okay with that. I'm
Yeah,
okay with that. I
I'm
really
just
am.
so
It's Nick.
excited for But anyways, we are going to be definitely hanging out with Nick. But I promoted In Time. History Unsettled. Even back in the day with we started promoting Digital Hammurabi. And a lot of people that I like,
Yeah,
I have them on the channel, and I promote the channels. Right now, a lot of those
right.
people I did, or not all of them, some of them have basically spat in my face. Okay, fair enough. Those are the people that I
Yeah,
realize I don't want to promote any longer, and I don't want to have anything to do with. But
right.
he's saying that I promoted somebody that I never promoted. That is bearing false witness.
hmm
Yep,
That's not a good Christian.
that's not a good
You can
Christian.
be a Christian. You're not being a good Christian.
All right, let's move on
Not at
here.
all.
Um, by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to black this out. So whatever, don't just ignore the first
You
word.
already said it anyways. You're so bad.
Well, yeah, but I haven't said his last name,
It's
so it
like,
doesn't count.
uh, uh,
Yeah. So, do you realize that he's been censoring everyone who disagrees with him, not just your little group? While I disagree with you on a lot of things, I say welcome to the club. Really? I mean, it's like this. I have looked for people that disagree with me. This is how my channel has been for years. We talk about things.
but
We have people that disagree in groups, and this is what it's been about. People disagree with me all the time. Sweet disagree with me. Chess has disagreed with me. Reds have disagreed with me. Nick has disagreed with me. And by the way, he's always been wrong about it. But um, I don't get this narrative that I disagree. I censor anybody that disagrees with me. No, if you disagree with me, just explain to me why, and don't be trollish about it. Right? That's it.
yeah, it's
And
pretty
the
simple.
trolls, I don't give a shit whether they agree or not. They're banned and censored because they're just garbage humans, like that person said. They're applying it to the wrong type of person. But I love when people disagree with me. I sat there in the hangout last night when I was preparing for T Jump's thing, and I was brainstorming, as you know. And I wanted people to come in and challenge me and say, hey, I think this is right, wrong. That's how you improve your arguments,
hmm
right?
Yeah. No, no. And it's just it's mind-boggling to me because people like, I mean, I might as well say it now because it's there. People like Matt that like his positions to me, they're the same. I mean, they're maybe worse than even the
Still
people I
call him
grew up
Pat though.
with
I
that
don't
did
want to
stuff.
call him by his
It
name. It's just he's
yeah,
such a
yeah, I
despicable.
know. It's gross.
And by the way,
But
I could
but
tell you
that's
from
my point
experience
is
he's
that
despicable
he's
because I wait one sec. I have long emails with this guy. I know how vile he really is.
yeah.
He's bad. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, I know. I've seen more than I want to of his stuff from before.
Yeah.
But no, no, I'm just saying that he is the worst type of Christian. He is the kind of person that abused me and abused other people growing up. It's the same type of psychology. And that's why people don't give him the time of day. He doesn't understand that. It's not because he disagrees. It's because he actively tries to harm people, children too. Because, it's us non-believers that hate children and want to harm children. No, he is a Christian and he wants to see children harmed because he thinks that's what God wants, which doesn't follow. And even you see other Christians speaking out against that all the time, because thankfully not every Christian takes the Bible literally.
And
But
real
here
quick
we
on
are.
that, I'm just glad you said that because, I want to thank S.J. Thomason. Even though I disagree with her on a lot of things, she disagrees with me on a lot of things. We have cordial conversations, but she doesn't take the
Yeah.
Bible that way. She does not think people should kill gay people, right? I mean, yes, she says some other horrible things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an S.J. defender, but
No, no, no. But what she said about you, I think
I
was pretty on
watched and
point.
yeah, I watched and I was appreciative.
Uh,
Even Veckel, who I've known
and
for
I
God 6
say,
years, he was nice about it. And she even told me off air, like, hey, Veckel has got nothing against you. He's kind of
mm,
mortified by all this as well. He thinks it looks bad for Christians, right? Because Veckel knows me.
yes.
He knows all this shit is said about me is bullshit. And by the way, Veckel and I have had major differences in the past, and more
hmm
kind of on a respectable level. But even he realized this is bullshit, right?
Well,
He's a better
this just it
Christian than they
goes,
are.
yeah, it goes so far into the realm of insanity that even these people can't, I mean, it's just you can't say that that's okay. And that's the thing about people like Pat. They're such extremists that they stay in an echo chamber of other extremists that most Christians, I would say, don't want anything to do with, which is good. But it's scary too because you see certain groups growing a little bit and um I don't know. I haven't followed too
Well,
closely
on my
with
coattails, like how
something,
many days can
but
be passed before? I mean, every day there's a video, Steve Exposed, every day out there,
yeah, but
every
I mean, not
day.
just
That's
like
why I
you. I
need
guess
the Steve Exposed. Why not? I'm
I
gonna
guess
jump on
like
that bandwagon. Real
the
quick.
Christian extremist groups. Yeah,
Well, real quick, Cheshire says Steve will be the common enemy that will bring the atheists and Christians together. All hail King Steve. By the way, I'm glad you noticed. This is my throne.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I was from the last comment, but yeah, can we just
That's my
pause for
throne.
a moment and
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
how beautiful it is to see people who disagree
I
coming together over
I
hatred of
I
you,
am bringing people together in love, right?
bringing people together.
Radical, Christians that want to kill gay people and atheists that disagree with me on
Wonderful.
on atheism, agnosticism, coming together to form a holy union together. That's I'm glad I could help people. All right, next one.
Yeah.
And this is just scary because this was an MMC USN. This is a Master Chief. It appears to be a Master Chief in the United States Navy, I think. So the old saying, you're over the target when you get the most flack. The evolutionist and atheist, I believe, know their argument doesn't hold water. So they have no other choice but to try to silence those who point it out. I've looked at this situation for 40 plus years and from many different views. It doesn't add up to, and by the way, there's nothing more on here.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
Just end.
Real quick, by the way,
Okay.
this person, Pat, says I am the most controversial atheist on YouTube. Now, SJ says I'm the most controversial agnostic on YouTube. Now, both of them I don't really necessarily agree with, obviously, but I'm not an atheist. This person, Pat, doesn't recognize that. He keeps on trying to pigeonhole into atheism, which obviously the radical atheists try to do as well. Neither one of them understand that I'm not atheist. But he says I believe we know that arguments don't hold water. I don't have arguments. Well, I have some arguments for atheism, but it doesn't mean it's convinced me. But evolution's true. Sorry, deal with it. There's nothing to be. That's an objective fact. It's objective. It's not subjective. It's not my opinion, not your opinion. We can have subjective evaluations of God, but there's no subjective evaluation whether things evolve. They do. Bar none. Done. Game over. So
yeah, someone's been drinking the Kent Hovind Kool-Aid a little bit too much.
Oh, these are Kent Hovind fanatics. Some of these, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat Tal is a Kent Hovind radical. But
yeah,
all right.
That's what I grew up with too.
Do you want to say anything on this?
So they have no other choice. No, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's just straight up dumb.
It's dumb.
But again, they're trying. Like I said, I'm the most. I don't even know what makes me controversial. I don't even say that things are that controversial. I'm actually explaining to people things that are pretty normative. Even my arguments that I have, they're not. They shouldn't be controversial. They really shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be. But shouldn't and are two different things.
Yeah. I remember when he attacked you, right? Attacked even. Wow. And told all of the atheists to stop giving you publicity. Well, I have done that. That is actually, yes. I don't think that when you're an advocate that gay people should be killed, I don't think you should get publicity. That's more than just having a differing opinion. That's actively causing something that can cause harm to people. If you or some people, if you're a person out there and you say, you know what, I think we should go kill, all black people. I'm not going to promote your channel, right? I'm not going to have anything to do with you because you're a racist piece of crap. What's the difference? He is a bigot. He's a homophobe. And by the way, it's funny because these pejoratives often get thrown my way. I've been called a bigot. I've been called misogynistic. I've been called
everything.
I'll say the word Nazi because we're already demonetized. Transphobe, pedophile. I don't know. I don't know if he. I didn't watch this video. Did he call me a pedophile? Or did he say that I was, or just?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. But even
I
still,
didn't watch it.
That term has been attached to me, and other people have said that as well. These are all pejoratives to try to character assassinate somebody, right? And yet, they think that I attacked him. But
by saying maybe don't give this guy so much attention.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an attack.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but thank Jesus, he has been exposed for the liar he is. Really? I still haven't know what I lied about. Everybody who says I've lied, I have yet to figure out what the hell they're talking about.
I'm waiting for that exposed. People keep saying you're exposed as a liar, but there's nothing backing that up. Ever.
If you really think you've got a case, message Sweet. And you're not a troll. Don't waste your time.
I've been waiting for years. Yeah, no, it's crazy because anyone who's ever tried, it's not lying. Like, I haven't seen one thing, and I wait for it because I would love. At this point, anyone that
She's
I'm
desperate to get away from
positively
me.
affiliated
Desperate.
with,
Yeah.
seriously.
Right?
So it's like, what, you want to help me out here? Show me how horrible Steve
I'm
is,
flying to
please.
Boston in a month. You got a month. And she's
I'm
thinking, please,
thinking,
please.
I'm blinking, help me.
I,
Crazy, absolutely crazy.
by the way,
You know,
I had somebody the other day, and again, I'm not going to mention this name because, again, another vile person, but they were sea lying me under a fake account, that a person that I blocked.
yeah, right. I
And
saw
yeah,
that. Yeah.
she got exposed for it, and it was her.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is validated, and people know this now. But it's like I'm the liar. I was asked a question, an honest question. I thought I answered honestly, and fully.
That was really bad too.
And
That
then
was bad.
I was like asking for an apology, and then come to find out it's a person who's character assassinating me. Yeah, that I'm the liar,
What's
right? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting because they were using a deceased child to try to get to you and to make you look bad. And as much as I didn't like this person before for what they did, after seeing that, nope. Like there's no going back from that. That was just beyond
Well, and
vile.
that's why I block a lot. Something. I mean, this person who wants to use well, I don't get it too much, but
Yeah.
a deceased child
Yeah.
as a weapon, you are
Yeah.
beyond repugnant. I mean, there's not even probably a word in the dictionary to describe that kind of behavior. But anyways,
No.
I don't want to bring it down too much. But as
Yeah.
someone who had friends who were molested, I am so encouraged to see someone standing against the predators out there. Did they? Here's the thing. Did you not at the very beginning explain to people, your history? There's other people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women in my live chat right now have had similar histories. A lot of them,
Mm.
my dearest friends. I don't understand using things like molestation and rape as weapons, because what it does when you start labeling people these types of terms like rape apologist and pedophile or pedophile defender, whatever the terms they want to use, you are affecting victims. You are causing it much more difficult for the people that have been harmed by these things to come forward, be taken seriously, and it just diminishes it all around. These are the people that I find to be morally reprehensible people.
And I'm sure that because they feel so strongly about this, they are just as outspoken against all the pastors and all the churches that are literally directly guilty of these crimes, right?
Yes, literally have been found with. There's not even a question about it. Kino asked in the live chat. She says, "LOL, really LOL." And how long have we been friends? I've known Kino for well over a decade, probably longer. I don't know. It's been a while. She used to come to visit my work when
Yeah.
I worked at Kohl's. And by the way, I was a customer service manager for a very long time for Kohl's, and then I like my last year's thing, I went to the kids department, right? So I was in charge of kids and lingerie and some other stuff. The kids department was my main thing.
Ugh,
Think
such a
about
creep, Steve.
Yeah, think about this, right? I mean, he's trying to put the words Steve McRae and pedophile together. If you look at his metadata, right? And yet, if I was to try to get a job, as a kid supervisor like I had, that would probably make it a little more difficult. Luckily, I'm not going to back. But I mean, I worked around children for years, right? And this scumbag, right, is trying to relate, the term pedophile with Steve to try to character assassinate. Thou shalt not bear false witness. This is by implicature. This is not the Christianity that I would ever think that a true Christian would support.
No.
And this is, again, why I thankful to S.J. Thomason for calling that out. By the way, do you know how many atheists had called him out? None. None that I saw. But irrelevant. But Kino, like I said, Kino knows the real me.
No, if anything, there are people, I mean, like that other comment we saw that said, "Oh, I don't agree with you on most things, but I agree with you about Steve." They're probably an agnostic or atheist, or at least a Christian that's more on the
Possibly.
liberal side.
Possibly. Yeah.
Like they're definitely not the same type, obviously, if they
And
disagree with most things.
And no, Nielsen, not kids' lingerie. That's the thing. No.
That is a thing, sadly. That's a whole other conversation.
That is a whole
That
different
is
conversation, but we didn't sell
Yeah.
that. That
No.
would be creepy. All right. So I've actually not heard of this quote popular atheist until recently. First of all, I'm not atheist. I'm not that popular. I mean, I'm just I'm a low level totem agnostic that stalks on the YouTube channels, and I occasionally get talked, into roping me in to talk to people like T Jump in LA, but I'm not like that super popular. And one of the reasons I'm not is because I don't play those types of games. I don't punch up, and I don't suck ass for people that kiss ass, or I was gonna say suck something else, but I was like, I don't want to get too demonetized. But
Sorry, I guess I read ahead. But also popular, did he even call you popular? I thought he just called you controversial.
I didn't watch the video.
Oh, okay.
Now
So maybe in the
he
video he
said it
did.
in the
All right.
he said it in the video
I'll
description.
assume.
I have a policy. I don't watch videos
Yeah.
of people that
Yeah.
I block. And people know.
I
Cheshire knows
guess.
this. You know this. This is
Oh
not
yeah.
just me talking shit. I do not watch people's videos. Period. Now
I
I
mean,
will see them on other
if I
people's
really get
channels.
to, yeah,
Go ahead.
it
Sorry.
might help though. You know what? You said you're on a diet, so
Yes.
maybe if you watch, it'll help you purge some of those extra calories. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I think about doing sometimes.
Yeah,
But
you meant to remind
aside
me on my
from that,
diet. I'm really hungry. I went out today and I bought healthy food. I bought apples and bananas.
oh God, I didn't want to say
Yeah,
stop. Nobody
All right.
cares.
Nobody cares.
So,
However, yes, Mr. Popular Atheist.
yeah,
However, I don't hang out with beta males.
beta.
Who are people don't even know how much her and I think alike. It's fucking scary. We even eat
I
the same
can't
things
see
at
the
same
word
stage.
beta without thinking that. I almost said something earlier when you were talking about YouTube beta, but anyways.
Who
So
you
close.
should have, yeah. Who are a closed up recluse who live their entire existence as an online anime or furry persona.
I didn't know you were a furry.
I
See, I'm learning things about you every day.
News to me. Well, I really I was taken aback by this because when I was reading these comments, I've learned a lot of things about myself I didn't know about. I have learned now that I'm an online anime furry persona.
I don't think I've ever seen you
I
be
knew it was beta,
either.
but whatever. Beta.
That's just so bizarre. That's just it's like it'd be one thing if you actually did have an anime or furry avatar or something, which would be, by the way, completely fine
Not against it.
and
Knock yourself
irrelevant.
out. Sure, irrelevant.
Yeah, but you don't. So it's just extra dumb
I don't even know
because
what to make
it's
of it.
not even real. Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, he
I
doesn't
don't.
hang out with beta males who are like that. Maybe he should a little bit more often.
Look,
I
I'm
think
not
he
even.
kind of wants.
What he kind of wants? What?
I said he said he doesn't hang out with those types, with beta males who are blah blah blah. And I said maybe he should a little bit more, and I think he kind of wants to
Maybe he
because it's a
does.
very specific thing that isn't based on reality. It's only in here. So Sean, think about that.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
maybe.
okay.
Maybe.
You can be a furry. It's fine.
Yeah, nothing against it at all, right? Anyways,
If
I
you
kind
want to
of
talk
lost
about
my
it.
train of thought. I mean, I'm still thinking about this. I'm like,
Sorry.
wow, why would people think about furry?
I don't know. I get furry porn in my head now, so whatever.
Yeah, I know what I was gonna say. She's always got some kind of porn in her head, so it's no big deal. It's normal.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not even a big fan of anime. And by the way, I probably just lost half my subs, right? Steve's not a fan of anime. We can't be friends. I can't watch his stuff. But I mean,
Wait, but you're not saying it's bad though, right?
No, I'm not against it. No, my
Okay.
baby's mama was a huge anime fan. Why do you think I know about Kagome and Kakasha,
And
Inuyasha, Kagome, and Sacred Shards? It's because I had to listen to it for years when I was living with my baby's mom and my daughter.
I love Dog Boy. I love Dog Boy. But anyways.
Oh God.
So moving on.
All right. So next one.
Over.
These atheists / evolutionists. I don't know how any of this relates to evolution, and I'm not an atheist.
You don't have. And you can be an atheist and not be an evolutionist. It's possible. You can be an you can be one or the other, or both, or neither. I mean,
oh please,
God, it's
God.
like they. Also, what's with the backslash? I'm sorry. Why is it a backslash?
I don't know.
Who does that?
But dear God, please don't send me a bunny suit. Please don't. No, if you want to do something, send Cheshire a onesie thingy. She's
I want a
got a link
bunny
for it. Give it to her. I don't care. Send it to her. I don't need any of that shit. I live very frugally. But yeah, go ahead. Give her the onesie. Buy her stuff. I don't give a shit.
If someone sends Steve a onesie, then he has to wear it though, and I think that'd be hilarious. I think it's only fair because I wore a onesie for him.
She did. Yeah, she actually did. Wait, were we supposed to talk about that? Yeah, off-air stuff. Sarah says for $2, Biden, Sanders, or Trump go. No, Sarah. No. I choose none of the above. I actually put that on my Twitter. Biden, Trump, I choose neither, or I abandon all hope. And by the way, I think abandon all hope is actually winning right now. So we're not going to get into that, Sarah, but yeah.
That's pretty much where we're mostly at. Yeah, that's another stream.
That's another stream. We'll get into that with Mikey Famine. I think we're going to try to do something. But anyways,
yes.
A form of sort of moral morality, but in fact, they are more animalistic. Animalic? Animalic? Is that a word? I don't. If it is, I'm not sure familiar with it. But
I'm not familiar.
Can somebody Google that? I'm not. I got too much stuff going
Okay.
on.
Right.
Is that a real word? Because if it is, I am not familiar with it, and I admit when I don't know something. In there, a way of thinking / acting than non-speaking animals. Signed, the angel,
Yeah.
non-universal soldier Gabriel. Okay.
So the term refers to both raw aroma materials and fantasy notes derived from synthesis in the lab, which directly evoke a scent reminiscent of animals. So he's saying that, I mean, kudos on the big word that we didn't know,
Is it a real word? I
but
know animalistic, but I don't think
he's
analytic.
he's
I never heard
he's
of it.
saying that we smell like animals.
Well, yes, we smell like animals because we're animals. And by
Yeah,
the
we
way,
are animals.
and sometimes I like that smell a lot. But I don't think that's a real word. And no, God's auditor, do
There's
not
nothing wrong with a little
a
musk,
little musk,
sometimes it's sexy. Yeah.
a
Right
little,
after the gym. Or,
not
yeah,
too
it's a
much.
little.
Yeah,
It's a little.
people know I okay, never mind. But God's auditor, please don't send me that. I mean, no, I don't want it.
Don't
save your
send
money.
you what? I can't see the chat. So chat, I'm
Oh,
sorry, I don't
don't
see you.
tell
I
her.
love you. I can't do both.
No,
But
don't
I
tell
want to know
her.
what it is. Send it to
No,
me. Send it to
no,
me.
watch afterwards.
Send it to me.
He
I
wants
don't
to.
even care what it is. Send it to
He
me.
wants to send a. He wants to. He says because God's auditor. Well, everybody knows my address, but God's auditor has sent me things before, like a bottle of scotch, the Glenlivet 12 that I still have a little bit left.
A physical object. I'm
Yeah, no,
sorry.
he
I was
sent me
thinking.
again. Unlike most people, I am extremely appreciative of what I get, and I remember
Yeah, you
things.
are.
And he has sent me a bottle of Johnny Walker, which was extremely good, because I really never was much of a Scotch drinker. Because I used to drink
And
like.
that's,
Well, real quick, I used
yeah.
to drink. I tried my dad's Scotch, right, which was Cutty Shark, and that's crap, right? Or Jameson, and but he sent me. He's like, no, you got to try Johnny Walker Black, and it was freaking good, and I liked it. So I finished that after like 4 months, and then he sent me a bottle of Glenlivet 12, which I like the Johnny Walker better. No offense, but I still have it. But he does.
Really?
Yeah, I like the Johnny Walker Black better.
Oh,
But again, I don't drink
I like them
much.
both.
She's seen
But
me go
yeah,
out.
I love
I
Scotch.
cannot
Yeah.
drink a lot.
Oh, he's a lightweight.
I'm a
Yeah.
lightweight.
And
But
the worst thing about him is he's a lightweight with control and discipline. So while everybody else around him is getting plastered, he's like, okay.
I'm the dad. I'm the fucking dad. I've turned into the fucking chaperone.
Oh my God. It's true. I do have daddy issues. Oh
Oh,
no.
we can end this
Oh,
call now.
they were
Okay,
right the whole time.
they
The
were
whole
always right.
time.
Um, but yeah, I don't want to need a onesie. But anyways, where are we going here? Sarah again, $5. When will there be a leaked Heathen McRae sex tape? We're gonna do that in CGI.
Yeah, that Patreon, reward is really up there.
I will say this though.
And that money has to go to me.
Cheshire and Sweet have been working on a project with me and Reds in a homoerotic narrative.
This is true. I mean, we haven't really collaborated yet, but I've been working on some artwork on the side.
So the Reds Rhetoric Steve McRae sex tape has probably a decent chance, I guess. It'll just be all drawn though.
It'll be an anime.
Yeah, it's just
We'll
be
do an anime.
Yeah.
We'll do an anime.
Yeah, and, what's so
All
funny
right.
is people that think that what's the term homo. I say I don't even. People they claim I'm like transphobic or homophobic. It's like I don't give a shit. If you want to, I love Reds. If you want to have him and I going at it, knock yourself out. I'm not offended by any of that stuff. It doesn't bother me.
Funniest because some people call you homophobic and then some people call you gay. So it's like, which one is it?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Right.
No! Oh God.
Yes. We got more to go. All right. When will they? When they have no moral law to which they weigh behavior and teach that people evolved from animals, obviously they support animal-like behavior.
Wow. All right. So right off the bat, false, because we do have laws that are based on morals. We just don't have them in a book, or we have them in the judicial system. There are laws, and just because it's not objective doesn't mean it doesn't matter, and that does not based in anything. So yeah, bullshit there.
Yeah.
They weigh behavior and teach that people, or they teach people that evolve from animals. We are still animals.
Yeah, we don't evolve from animals. We've
been through.
Yeah,
right, redundant.
Yeah. All right.
Obviously, they'll support animal-like behavior.
Yeah.
Well, we are animals, and our behavior is animal-like because we are animals. So,
and I will tell you, I am more moral than any of these comments, bar none. Bar none.
Yeah.
Even if you hate me, even if you think I'm a piece of shit, if anybody thinks that these people are more moral than me, I have to question your entire understanding of ethics. I mean, like,
Well,
holy
and
shit.
their understanding of you, a lot of these
Well, of
people
course.
don't really know you for who you are. They haven't spent time with you like I have, like Chesh has, like Reds has, Nick has, these other people that got to know you, especially in person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
Was that? Well,
I think of everybody
I
that
don't
tried to
remember if I
stop
asked this or not,
meeting
but
you in person.
I was going to say, am I a what you see is what you get kind of guy in real life?
Yeah, almost to a fault. Yeah,
I think that I am. I
yeah.
really do. I don't. I'm not. I don't. I cannot think of anything I'm really that much different in real life than I am on air. I am what you see is what you
No.
get. Now, I try to be a little more well spoken on air when I'm paying attention, only because I have issues with pronunciation. I have issues with
Oh,
I
sure.
transpose different things, and obviously I had speech therapy, so I'm always going to be self conscious of that. It's just
That's
I
fine.
can't get
That's
away from
not
that.
something people should pick apart anyways, but
But they do.
doesn't invalidate your arguments, but I know.
They
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Hey, just to be
All right.
fair,
Yeah.
I haven't commented on like I don't know, 4 or 5 typos that we've gone through. I just ignored them, so you're welcome, guys.
Okay, moving on. Um, here we go. Ready? Call to Christ. How to point this one out. First one, I think I actually put to the title. Call to
Oh,
Christ. So I would assume that this is Christian, right?
I would think so.
Okay. Pretty sure Steve is an
Go
open
on, old man.
sodomite. Not just a closeted sodomite, but an open
Oh,
sodomite. I
hey,
know.
all I talk
Wait,
about Reds, man.
I guess it gets better. I know his partner guy with the weird hairdo is. It's a sodomite platform non-sex show. Pretty sure Steve is an open sodomite. News to me. Now, this is actually one that I actually told my landlord earlier before I went on air. I actually told him. I said one of these comments actually says that I am a sodomite. I told John, my landlord. People know his name by now. I was like, I didn't know this. John, why haven't you told me
Oh,
this? I've been living here 5
oh, I'm
years. Why
dead.
didn't you let me know that I'm a sodomite? I had
I'm
no
dead.
idea. Because he's, like I said, he's Christian. This
Oh
just
gosh. Oh
again
my
bearing
gosh.
false witness, right? These are people that are claiming to be Christian. They don't give a shit. Now, look, I am very much for gay rights. That's one of the reasons why I left the Mormon Church. I am very much for trans people. I am very much for people to do what the hell they want in the privacy of their own goddamn bedrooms. I'm not gay. I've never been gay. I've never been attracted to men, except for maybe Sean Connery. But hey, who hasn't been? It's just not my thing, right? But that doesn't matter. I don't. Why would anybody care if that's not my thing? It's just I am a cisgender white
It
male.
doesn't matter.
You know, I mean, I'm
It
the
doesn't
token guy.
matter. It matters to these people very much because they think their God hates you, even though God's not supposed to really hate anybody. But whatever. So
I just
I can't help. I have to. As ridiculousness of obviously the first sentence is whatever.
but it's not even closed sodomite. It's not even a closeted sodomite. If somebody
No,
says,
you're not.
well, yeah, it's not like he's
It,
saying pretty sure Steve is a closeted sodomite, which is still a lie, but an open one too. Okay,
well, it's like he says pretty sure. To be fair, he
pretty
did
sure.
say he's pretty sure.
Qualified
He's
it, I
not
guess.
actually sure.
Yeah.
So we'll give him that. Okay, so you think you're pretty sure. We're telling you now you're wrong.
Yeah.
He's not an open sodomite. Even if he was a sodomite, he's not open about it. So deal with that. I know his partner guy with the weird hairdo,
And
LOL,
partner, yeah,
is
but business partner is
have
not the
you
same as
ever
sexual
been
partner. By the way, there's some
wait,
equivocation
wait,
going on.
wait. I'm assuming he's talking about Kyle.
Yes, yes.
But where has he been for the past year or so? Does he not understand that he's no longer your partner? This whole
Right.
comment makes no sense.
Well, and
He's
by the way,
not
there's
your partner.
equivocation because it makes it sound like a sexual partner, right? In some ways, I think maybe, but
Yes. Yeah. Well, he might be doing that. His
yeah.
partner guy, maybe. Yeah,
And
probably. But
sodomite's a pretty
still,
pejorative term, I
he
think.
says non-sex show, so
I
I know
mean,
what he's saying.
Kyle's openly gay, but you know that the term sodomite
Well,
to me implies some pejorative narrative, right? Like I don't know. That's the way I read the word.
right is pejorative. No, it's he's trying to make he's saying it that way. He's trying to say it in an insulting way, but it's just like people who called me heathen is a bad thing, and I just owned it. It's not really that bad of it to me. It's not a bad thing. So it depends on it's the intention, right? So the
Yeah,
intention is that he, because
to
of
be
the
pejorative.
religion,
Yeah,
if you're a sodomite, you're a bad person. So
but to a gay
yeah,
person,
he
they may say,
thinks
"Yeah, I'm a sodomite. I'm a proud one." Okay, and that's fine. Take back the word. I get that,
also
right?
also you can be a homosexual and not be a sodomite. There are plenty of homosexuals that don't practice and don't have an interest in
That's a good
sex.
point. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Um, Chessar says maybe they don't mean Steve, maybe they mean me because I'm trans apparently. Yeah, again, narrative, right? And by the way, it was actually atheist more than everything else that thought that was trying to run the thing that Cheshire was trans. Actually, one of them, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know. I think
I know.
what is I gotta say it, Russian Vids. Is he actually Christian? I don't know. Is he a theist? I don't remember
Um,
because he was one of the ones running that
oh,
narrative too.
I thought he was a theist. I know he's into a lot of like weird,
Weird
kooky
stuff,
spiritual stuff,
but doesn't.
numerology and stuff like that. But I don't know his specific religious beliefs. But I thought he was.
I don't
I
know.
could be wrong, but yeah.
But yeah,
Chesh
so
probably.
oh, I'm sure she does. All right, so moving on.
I
Wow,
tried
that
to think
guy is
about.
disgusting, dude.
Okay, sure, you
Yeah.
believe that.
That one I'm not going to
That's
address. It's like, wait, if you
that's the
want to think that
thing.
I'm the disgusting one, because like one time I had somebody on my show, which I've had for 8 years, this channel. I've had
Mhm.
hundreds of people on. I've promoted some very good content. If you think that makes me disgusting, knock yourself out. Don't watch my
No,
shit. You're not the audience I'm going for. I'd rather have a nice limited audience. Again, I need 10 subs to get this back to 13K. So if people want to help me out and have a little sub drive for me, that'd be great. But I don't care if I lose
oh,
hundreds of
yeah,
subs that I don't want for an audience because those are not the people I want. If you think that I'm disgusting, why would I want you to watch me? I'm not into
well,
that. I'm not into hate views.
yeah. That's a matter of opinion. People think I'm disgusting too. It's fine,
I've
but
seen I've seen the way you eat. Yes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She's pristine. Yeah,
hey,
pristine.
I get into a turkey leg, man.
She
But
again, food.
I
You're
love
there.
food.
All right. Can't talk about food.
Right. But this is as just an example of oh God, okay. But go real quick on the other one. Just a perfect example of somebody who watched the video and assumed everything he was saying was true without actually looking into the facts.
Shocker, right? I mean, that's what a lot
Yeah.
of people do, right? They just jump on the bandwagon, right?
Because if what he said was true, I'm sure you would be a disgusting person.
well, yes,
But
I'm
it's not
sorry.
true.
I would agree with that. Yes, I mean anybody who says yeah, go pedophilia, go bigotry, go racism,
Yeah.
go whatever. Those are not good people.
Oh, wait. That's not you though. That's Pat Towel.
Oh yes, the one that wants to kill
Oh,
gay people. Okay, awesome.
yeah. Yeah. So I call him Steve McKay. Well, congratulations. You have the intellect of a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I
Moving
mean, all these terms that come people again, these are all character assassination terms. I mean, I say Pat Towel, but again, that's not like a derogatory term. It's just that we didn't want to give him any attention,
Yeah,
right?
no.
So,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
It's actually a compliment, like I said.
Men love darkness rather than light. Keep preaching the truth, brother. These fools were going to still feel real stupid when judgment comes. Let me take this one if I can.
Yes.
Look, if God exists and God says, "Hey, Steve, this person Pat Towel is more moral than you," I think that God is a piece of shit.
I want nothing to do with that God.
Now,
Nothing at
granted, I'll
all.
still worship him because I don't want to burn hell for eternity, but I'll do so begrudgingly, right? I will be,
Yeah.
but
There's no way I could genuinely love an
no, not
entity
possible.
that was like that.
Not
It's
possible.
impossible.
But see, that
I
God would
could
know your
beg for
intent,
his
right?
forgiveness of that. Yeah, I could beg for his forgiveness for that. Like, please don't torture me
Because I
forever,
hate
but
you.
I hope you understand why I can't worship you.
Yeah, no, I get
And
that.
there's no way that an entity could be all loving, even if they were both sides of the coin, the part of them that's all loving and understanding would have to understand that.
Yes, and they would know your heart, right? They would know that hey,
Yeah,
you have a good heart, and you are against
exactly.
people. Look, if a person was instantiated with the attributes of God, kind of thing, not the omnipotent stuff, but as far as the morality, uh,
Hmm.
based upon what I've seen from this, that person would be a sociopath.
Yeah.
And this
I
is
have questions. Like that God would have to convince me that ultimately all that stuff was okay. You know what I mean? It would take a lot. It would really take a lot. It's not going to happen by default. Just being proven that they exist isn't enough to make me worship them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's again another
Chess says, I don't know where they're
conversation.
going with this comment, but it's just, I wouldn't feel stupid. I would feel like I led my life to the best of my ability, being as ethical as possible. And if that God does not appreciate that, and he thinks somebody who wants to kill gays is more ethical than I am,
Right.
again, this is why I left the Mormon church. This is why, Sweet Heathen left kind of religion because of these types of
Mm.
things. We don't want to be a
Yeah.
part of that. I am a non believer, and I don't accept a deity like that. Now, there could be other variations of the Christian God that are not like that, which is one of the reasons why I'm working with Reasons to Believe. They have a different version, and I'm not like I'm not antithesis to it, right? I'm not like antithetical to it. But I like those guys. I get along with them. We have great discussions. I don't have to agree with them. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing stuff with them. They don't agree with me either. That's the whole point. We want to have conversations about disagreements, right? So when people say, hey, Steve only wants people around him that agree with him, well, then why the hell am I doing a new show with Reasons to Believe? And from this live in studio, right? Two times a month.
Same with me. Like, yeah, exactly. And people are like, oh, you hate Christians, you hate this and you hate that. It's like, no. I mean,
my roommate, my landlord knows about Reasons to Believe. He remembers Hugh Ross, and he knows about that kind of stuff. And he was a kind of a fan of them, but although he doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff, but he knows they're at least an organization that want to have conversations. That's why I want to work with them. Doesn't mean I have to agree with them. I know Hugh Ross has some really bizarre stuff with like UFOs and demons. I get that, right? I don't believe in any of that stuff either, right? But when his astrophysics is pretty good. But here we go. All right,
that's fine. But hey, I feel spared from that one because he said he's talking about men here. So this is all about you. So whatever.
Well, one could make the argument that you're a subset because we're the men. You're just a subset. This is why patriarchal bullshit.
I shouldn't even be talking right now.
I gave you permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. She asked before we went on air, Steve, can I talk during this? I said, sweet, of course. But I also told her remember this. So I finally gave her permission for something. All right. Great job, brother. Keep up the good work keep up the great work for God. God continues blessing this brother. This is God's work. Slandering somebody.
This is God's work.
Lying about them, bearing false witness, trying to implicate people on things that they have no bearing with whatsoever. I'm about as far removed from pedophilia as possible. I actually prefer women of a very substantial age is actually my range.
Hey. Hey. Come on now.
Older than you, actually.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're fixing it.
Remember we had remember we have talked about some women in their 50s that are like, yeah.
Oh, they're yeah.
Oh my God. So I don't. Weird. Go ahead.
This is the opposite. This is the exact opposite of what I grew up reading and being taught in the church of what God's work was. Even the worst churches that I was involved with, or that, on my mother's side, she went to all different kinds of churches. Even the worst ones didn't want to kill anybody. You know what I mean? Like it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind because even if you think that Leviticus is still valid, the New Testament pretty much it clearly says not to treat people that way. That it's God is the judge. You are not the judge. The government is not the judge. God is the judge.
Isn't this
period.
Similar to like witch hunt? When like just the rumor of somebody being a witch would be enough to well, same thing.
It's such blatant internal hate and phobias under the guise of religion. Oh, I can push my hateful views on the world because I can say that it's God's plan and it's God's work. But it falls apart
because they're sociopaths. They're sociopaths with no empathy, no compassion, and what they want to do is because they don't have any of those abilities. I think some of them are actually lacking them. They have to latch onto somebody and just say, what? Yeah, I have no morals because I'm a human piece of shit. But you know what? I defer to God, and because of God, now I have morals again.
I understand. Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't. And I completely understand why people will say like, oh, they're not real Christians because of that, because they're rejecting the New Testament in order to act this way. And the New Testament is supposed to be, equal or more important than the Old Testament, depending on how you interpret.
Agreed.
But there's no interpretation of Christianity I've ever heard that says the Old Testament is more important than the New Testament.
Yep. All right.
Conversation with somebody.
You're breaking up a little bit. We'll move on to the next one.
I'd love to have a conversation. Yeah, go on.
Who do you want to have a conversation with?
Oh, no, I was saying I'd love to have a conversation with somebody who really believed that the Old Testament was more important than the New Testament in Christianity.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Maybe we can find somebody. Share this video so we can find somebody. And like I said, I need 10 more subs. So help me. Help everybody that I've ever helped out, just help me with a little sub drive. Give me like 10 subs. I'm not asking for like 1,000. Just give me a sub drive for 10 subs. Weird. Okay. So we've got two left here. We're making progress here. This further proves that atheism leads to a total rejection of common sense and morality. I'm not an atheist. I don't know how many times to explain this to these people. You are bearing false
Also,
witness. And why would
and
it
they're
release
projecting.
it's a
It's a lot
rejection
of
of common sense
projecting.
morality. Yet my whole channel is about talking about morality, talking about common sense, Cheshire and I do a show every Monday. What do we talk about? Things that deal with common sense and try to be a better critical
First,
thinker.
well, first of all, I don't like the term common sense anyways. I think it's a little bit of a bullshit concept because common sense is only common, like sense is only common if you grow up in a certain environment where everybody around you feels a certain way or like you have to pick it up. Um, somebody in a remote tribe somewhere doesn't know what you know is common sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Yeah, I think there's some relative things there,
I,
right?
I know what they
But
mean. I know what they mean by
yeah, there
it,
needs to be as a
but I
base
think that
level that all
yeah,
people
yeah,
should have, right?
yeah. If you're from the same society, I understand people using those things, but to say that a certain position is rejecting common sense, it just doesn't work. I wouldn't say that Christians reject common sense.
Yeah.
I think that they hold common sense, in some ways. For some things, I did. I wasn't a dummy when I was a kid. I was a great student. I was a smart person. But your beliefs are separate from that in a way, or they're despite that. So this is again, it's generalizing. It's gross, really. I mean, to say that people reject morality just because they don't believe in a God,
How many people you think how many people
it's
these
the
comments have
opposite.
ever really looked into what morals even are? I doubt any of them do, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They think morals are what God says.
Right.
That's
And
it.
so they don't
Yeah.
even have to look into the framework. It doesn't matter. They don't have to look into any moral theory whatsoever. None. They don't have to read anything on it because why? It
And
doesn't
if
matter what
yeah,
God says. That's what's moral. That's a reductionist approach that I've ever
right,
seen, right?
right. And they'll argue it either way because then when you say and clarify that, my moral framework is based on what's best for humanity, say that's your axiom, best for humanity and as a whole, then they'll say, well, God knows best. So again, whatever the Bible says is best for humanity, even if it doesn't logically follow in your brain, you have to trust God's plan because God knows what's best for humanity.
Yeah, I mean, if I live my life by saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna," matter of fact, there was an episode I watched on Chicago Med of this almost very thing. A person had this seriously. They had
You
a,
and your soap operas.
it's not a soap opera, but
It's a soap opera.
we're gonna
It's
have this.
okay.
We're gonna have this debate. This might be our first debate, a first fight that we ever have. But it's not a soap opera. But anyways, so this guy had he was living online kind of thing that he would have his audience vote on whatever he would do. Right? They would yes, he has to do it. You call it you be the judge or something. And if I live my life where if I say, hey, sweet, I'm not going to make any decisions, any consequential decisions without you telling me, you tell me what to do. Would I ever really
Hmm.
develop the ability to determine what right and wrong actions are? No.
Of course not.
I would never know by trial and error. I would never learn and grow. They've deferred themselves to a higher being by saying, I don't have to have an ethical framework. And you know why they do that? I think some of them, like Pat Towell, is because they don't have ethics to begin with. They don't have a conscience. They don't have empathy. And because of that, they don't even know how to build a moral framework.
Right.
They have to have somebody tell them what is moral and immoral. And even then they get it wrong. Like, for example, thinking gays should be killed. Sorry, that's not moral. Under any theory of nothing would ever make that moral.
No.
Nothing. That is an impermissible act to me, which means it's not
No.
permissible in any possible world. And yet,
Because
to him, it is.
yeah,
Go ahead.
anything they base it in, they justify it because they either believe. I don't think most of them do actually believe it, but I know some people do believe that homosexuality is a detriment to the flourishing of humanity. That's complete horseshit. If anything, nature teaches us the opposite, that homosexuality is beneficial for society. We see it in other species, but that's again a whole other conversation. But they don't care about science. Again, Leviticus says that they should be killed, and they just take that and run with it, that it must be an inherently dangerous, horrible thing. Doesn't matter what science says, doesn't matter what anything else says. It's just it. And even people who accept the New Testament, they may not be violent about it, but they'll still say that it's wrong and that it's dangerous, and they'll encourage against it. And they may believe in conversion therapy and things like that because they think
Oh, I hate
a
that.
little pain for the child, a little pain for the child now is better than eternity in hell. that doesn't likely exist.
Yeah, no, the conversion therapy, or what's called reparative therapy, is, I think, barbaric. And that's another thing that the Mormon Church had actually it's kind of helped promote, which was called,
Yeah.
they were called, I think they're called Evergreen International. Yeah, they were actually thinking that you could actually either pray the gay away or use even electroshock therapy, right?
Yeah.
That's
That's why I
pretty
stayed in the
bad.
closet about being bi until I was in my
Mm.
teens, because I knew at least then I could fight that kind of a thing. I was terrified for a lot of reasons. Bad enough that growing up, I was told that I was going to burn in hell if I did feel that way. So as a child, and I understood that pretty early on, I was attracted to both males and females pretty early. I couldn't rectify that in my head. I know we talked about that a little bit. And I thought for a while that I was better off dead than living a life of sin because I couldn't avoid that sin. I couldn't control it, but I was terrified of going through any type of like therapy like that. But it was definitely mentioned in some households and different things. So, um, God, it's just like, again, these people want to talk about abusing children and hurting children. The religion, the Bible hurts children. It actively hurts children. People that follow that, but that
Uh,
doesn't matter
it
because
doesn't matter
God
because
can.
God says it, right?
It's fine. Yeah.
Sarah, for
So
$2,
whatever.
they value ideology or facts. Yes, and by the way, again, there's just as militant dogmatic atheists are the same way, Sarah.
Yeah.
They value
Sure.
ideology or facts. I've seen it. I've lived it. Right. Matter of fact, there's somebody in the live chat right now. By the way, message me
I don't see
later.
any atheists out
Um,
there talking about
this is
killing people, though. I mean, there's very few.
well, I wrote a blog and it's right there. People can read it. It's agnosticism is not a subset of atheism. I make an argument for it. This person says I'm wrong. Okay, great. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I love when people say you're wrong, Steve. I mean, when people say you disagree with me, I block you. No, I'm like, come on, talk about it. So you get it.
You beg for it
I do.
practically. Yeah.
Again, what we do private. I don't beg. I just plead. It's
he,
the
he
Jewish
likes
thing.
likes he
I'm
likes a little
Jewish,
bit of
man.
abuse. Yeah. Yeah.
Jewish is 2 hours of foreplay is just begging. That's what we're used to. But
And then it's me nagging you.
exactly. Kawasa 5000. I am a stranger if I say Pat reminds me of watching Good Burger episode. Or am I strange if I say Pat reminds me of watching Good Burger episodes? I can't understand the thing he says. I don't watch Good Burger, but could be
I
Kawasa.
haven't
But anyways, get with
in
this
a
other
long
guy,
time.
Cheshire. Can you set it up? If this other guy that's saying that I'm wrong, if he wants to have a conversation with me, I'm down for it. Again, I want to be challenged on this stuff. All right, he says I should get some mic and headset. Awesome, I'm down for that. I'll keep you posted on that.
Cool.
Yes, I want more people to, but I'll be on the other channel, the GDC channel. People that want to
Yeah.
watch it, they
No,
can.
these are the great conversations to have. So I'm always happy when somebody else
Right.
wants to come and talk about a different position. That's awesome.
All right, so we'll do that fresh when you get a headset and mic. Awesome. All right, last one. Ready? Steve McRae absolutely did not defend a pedophile. Show me the proof. And this is not obviously a bad comment. This is not probably, I don't know if a Christian or not, but nobody replied to
I
this.
was all prepared. I thought it was going to be horrible, but hey, at least two people liked it.
Because there is no proof of this. This is absolutely just a smear campaign by a person who I think as a reprehensible person, a person who has proven themselves to be morally reprehensible, to assassinate my character by jumping on whatever bandwagon is out there to try to attack me, to say I'm this, then I'm that. It says, if people don't like my arguments and somebody says, hey, Steve's transphobic, therefore his argument's wrong, which is an hominem fallacy, they don't care. Right? They're like, oh, Steve's wrong because he's transphobic, which is, again, bullshit. God's Auditor, $2. Italian foreplay, snaps finger points. Wow. That's. I wish. Can you teach me how to do that first? I can't snap very well, but so.
I don't. I'm not that good at it either.
Yeah, I don't
kinda.
think Sweet will respond too well for that. You don't know. She's scary. Okay. I've told her for a long time she scares the hell out of me. That has never changed. Ira Moon, $50. Oh wow, thank you, Moon. I do appreciate that. It has been tight this month. Because Sweet is on. Love you both. LOL, love you both, and we love you. And
I love you too, Moon, so much. You're amazing.
I do appreciate that, Moon, very very much. We do love you. Our best to you. And by the way, I so appreciate the people that have been around this channel, the people that have supported, and the people that know these narratives are bullshit. And people say, well, every time I hear the word narrative, I'm going to drink or something. It's just because they're trying to diminish that word. That word is a legit word. This is narrative that this person, this Christian, is doing just because they want to.
No, they're not trying to diminish the word, Steve. It's just that we say it so much. They're sick of hearing
But it's true, right? It is narrative.
If anything, it feels like it's being diminished by the frequency in which it's said. I think that's what they're kind of getting at more.
Right? No, I get that.
But
No, I get that. But but I can't help it because it is what it is. I don't know
There's
any
only
other
so
word
many
to do
words.
it. Yeah.
There are only so many words you can use. Yeah.
And so
sorry.
when you're a Christian or an atheist and you have to character assassinate somebody by making a video with my name on it, and then run some kind of script that I'm this or I'm that, or I'm such a bad person, or I've done something this, you're just using it for views. And I think people are coming around to that, understanding that, because we're not interested in that. This is why we don't talk about those people. This is why I don't respond to them. This is why I don't even watch those videos, because I want to know about the arguments. If you want to think I'm a horrible person, go the hell fucking ahead and do it. I don't give a shit. I'm not here for those kinds of people. I'm not here for the people that are convinced by those kind of arguments. I'm here for the people that I care about. I'm here for the people that want to learn. I'm here for myself, because I enjoy these things. My friends, to me, I am pretty firstly loyal to. I will go out of my way to help them as much as possible. I don't see that with people that are character assassinate me. I don't think they'd walk across the street to spit on somebody if it was inconvenient to them. They're not helping people. They're harming people. This is what they do. And this is why I have that dichotomy. Even though it's not a true dichotomy, they're contraries. But, you can either help or you can harm. And even though you don't have to do either, I get this logically, there's a lot of people out there actively trying to harm people. I'm not into that. I want to help people. I know Sweet's the kind of person that wants to help people. But these comments, these are the people that, not this one, but the other ones, are all people that want to harm people. This is the first comment that I saw that actually, and probably won't even last, probably get deleted, because this person, Pat Tal, does delete comments. Anything that's negative. Because there is no proof that I defended a pedophile, nor would I defend a pedophile. If somebody is an actual pedophile, why would I defend them, right? I mean, matter of fact, everybody who lives in this house has been ran through Megan's list. It's one of the criteria, right? I mean, these are terms that are so abhorrent, that are so stigmatic, that are so used to try to diminish the character of somebody, merely because people don't want to have the actual discussions about the arguments. And they say, hey, look at Steve. He's a big poo-poo head. Therefore, he's wrong about philosophy. He's wrong about evolution. He's wrong about anti-younger creationism. He's wrong about whatever it is. Flat Earth, right? Steve's a poopy head. Flat Earth is true. That's the kind of shit that they say. But I'll let you have the last word here, because I'm such a good man to you. I'm the misogynist.
Yeah. Worst friend ever.
I have a horrible friend. I don't know why you talk to me.
Oh, I didn't know. It's so frustrating, and it hurts. Like, it physically hurts as somebody that has been a victim of all these things. And I don't like the word victim. I prefer to use survivor. But for them to take something like that and turn it against somebody that has been there for me, and that's been one of the few people I've opened up to in an in-depth way about certain things, that was accepting, that I've seen talk against all this stuff, that has been an advocate for survivors, that has helped more survivors than me get through some things. That's just a genuinely warm, loving, good person that maybe, sorry, Steve, but maybe a little bit socially awkward, maybe a little clumsy in his language sometimes. He's not a bad person. He doesn't do these bad things. He hosts people that he thinks can contribute based on a certain subject. Or sometimes he's hosted people that people debated against, that they're not promoting, like what was it, like the JF and like some other people that were on to be debated against. That's not promoting their channels. That's calling out that they're wrong, and that that this is a position that has a negation that people are talking against. I don't know. I think that the people that are willing to be convinced can look at the evidence. They can understand that because they want to know the truth. The people that don't want to know the truth and just want to hype up the drama, they just want to go with their own agenda, or they don't like you because you're agnostic, or they think you're atheist, or they think that you're a weak theist, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Your philosophy goes against their understanding of the world. You're not going to get through to them because they're not against you because of those bad things that people said about you. They already are against you for their own reasons. And I don't know what to do about that. I just don't.
You can't.
You know,
There's nothing to be done.
you can't.
There's nothing to be done.
So, you know, you have to like deal with it and move on and be the best you can be, you know, as they say. And the best you can be seems pretty all right with me, and it seems to be pretty all right with the audience you have. And that's what
by
we
the way,
cling on to. We do good things.
I paid her to say all
Did I
that.
say that right?
You did. You got it,
right?
dude. The script I sent you, perfect. You nailed it. Nailed it.
Hold on.
She's actually a hired actress. You guys don't know this, right? I mean, Josiah, $2. Just checked, and my comment is still there and wasn't nice. I faxed it to her. Wonderful. No, I appreciate the kind words, and people that don't understand a lot of things about maybe the ins and outs and intricacies of relationships and my base. The women that are very close to me, most of them are survivors, and the reason why we have such close bonding with each other is we talk about things that won't be public stuff, but it is a 180 from the narrative that other people are running. And so when I have people like Sweet and Moon and Cheshire and this Rated Kiss and Manya, the Golden Unicorn, Kino, whoever, it doesn't matter. They all know me, right? And they all know that what's being said about me is not true. And they get, what happens a lot of times? They get shit said about them, and they go, wait a minute, I'm having shit said about me that's not true. Steve, it's more likely the case that shit saying about Steve isn't true. And then they realize, of course it's not. And then you also have, again, an open-mindedness to say, look, if you think this is true, show me the evidence, right? Like this person last comment that has said, show me the evidence of this, which is not forthcoming because there is none. When Sweet says, hey, show me Steve has lied, not a single person has ever showed her any evidence for this. Not one. Not one. So, but anyways, I do love you guys too. Raleigh, love you, Steve. These things are, these types of hangouts are not as easy as people think they are. I may not show a lot of compassion or empathy outright in a lot of cases. I do to my friends, right? But I don't. I shouldn't say that. I do show compassion and empathy. I don't show emotions, I guess you can say, because I am very compassionate. I am very empathetic, but I don't relate it a lot, so I don't show feelings a lot. But that doesn't mean I don't have them. Like people may know a while back something did trigger me. It doesn't happen very often, right? And I hate when they use that word triggered because it's so,
Yeah, you're using it right. You're using it right.
In this particular case, I think it is used right. And people ran a narrative with it, trying to say that it was about something that it was completely unrelated. I mean, they said they started filling in the blanks with things that weren't true. But the facts are is Sweet knew the case. Cheshire knew. I went to them because I trust them and I love them, and I told them if I ever feel like I cannot handle something, if I'm going past that point of I'm not comfortable, I care about you as my friends and people that I love to say something. That took a lot, by the way, to do. I don't think I've ever done that before to anybody, to be honest with you. But that's only because I can with the people that I care about now. And I thank you, Sweet, and I thank Cheshire, and I thank Moon, and I thank Manya, and other people that I care about. They have allowed me to be able to get to that point where I at least can open up to somebody and say, yes, I am not at a good place right now, and being triggered because of it's you know what, it's something. It was mundane. It wasn't even one of my trolls or anything, right? Because that doesn't bother me at all. But it just was something. But at least I had the ability to go to somebody, and I appreciate that. So, anyways, getting all mushy now.
Yeah. No, it's tough, and it
is hard. I don't like talking about this stuff. It's very difficult for me.
Yeah, honestly, this was hard. I mean, a lot of those comments were just so ridiculously off base and cruel, and and triggering, of course. And then that's the thing; these people don't realize that they're triggering actual survivors and victims, and causing this trouble for their own pleasure, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, their own need for they want to see people harmed. They get off, I think, when people fall from grace or that are they want to cause problems only because it makes themselves feel better with themselves, and they can do that. Look, that's actually pretty popular on YouTube, and I get that type of programming, right? If you want to be that kind of a person that has a channel and all you want to do is shit on people, knock yourself out. You're probably going to get views. That's not going to be this channel, and it never will be. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to fix this little Skype thing that we had. We have, unfortunately, Skype. You do not like Skype, and Skype does not like you. All right, you back? You back? Can you hear me? I can hear something. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. But
I
I hear
I know
something.
you Skype. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
that's
like
okay.
a year, I think, since I talked Skype. Yeah.
But anyways,
So I didn't realize it was going to
I'm
be so
actually kind of
funny.
tearing up a little bit. So I'm it's just like
Yeah, me too. Okay.
yeah, love
That's not
it.
just
It's
me.
so it's weird because it's a flood of emotions, right? Because it's good and bad.
It doesn't take
But
much for me, though. I'm a crier.
I think it's more good though. I mean, like I said, I'm really grateful for everybody and sweet people know that I adore the hell out of you, and I'm very grateful that you've actually taken the time to move past, this drama stuff and got to know me for who I am, and you're just you are an amazing human. So,
Likewise, man.
and by the way, I will shout out to Devance out there. My Mikey's right there. Hi, Mikey.
Mikey, hey, bro.
Mikey. Mwah. All right, guys. I thank you for watching. I was gonna promote something, and I forgot what I was supposed to promote. Just make sure you watch Cheshire coming up. She does her that time of the month with Sweet and Manya. By the way, killer name.
And
I love that name. You came up with that, I heard.
I know I did as kind of a joke. I didn't think it was actually going to stick,
that name.
but it works. It works.
What else is coming up? I'm going to be on the Drunken Peasants on the 10th. I'm going to be in LA on the 17th. If you guys want to join me, I'll be happy to do a meet and greet or something if you're in the LA area. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching. Please promote this video and comment. I will be happy to ask you any questions. Trolls are not invited to that. They can forever be banned for this channel, and they are. But if you are an active viewer, please leave comments because I like to read them and I like to get feedback. And please promote this and get me 10 more subs, guys. 10. I'm not asking for a lot, okay? But with that, we'll see you later. And again, Sweet, love you. Thank you. Good night.
Love you too. Love you all.
You heard that. Get that recorded and get it on a sample board for me, please. Thank you. Good night.